Hello everyone, you are watching me Zahur Islam on my YouTube channel. Today my presentation topic is drug development and review process. So before starting the drug development and review process, you can see the objectives on my screen. So first of all, you will have to learn the process involved in drug development and discovery. Define the phase involved in FDA drug approval. Explain the role of the Food and Drug Administration and the drug development and review process in the United States. Let's take a start. Research and development process. What is R&D? So R&D, the development of new drugs, is a complex and very costly process. It takes an average of 12 years and about $350 million to get a new drug from the laboratory to the pharmacy shelf. R&D involved the discovery preclinical studies. These are our main objectives. The first one is preclinical studies, and development has come under the category of clinical studies. Only 1 in 1,000 compounds which begin laboratory testing will make it to the human testings. What is the role of FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and drug development? So the Food and Drug Administration is required to review and approve all the new drug in the United States. And the FDA review and evaluate the new drugs based on the evidence presented from the clinical research studies and performed by the drug sponsor, typically a pharmaceutical company. So here I mention the United States, but in Pakistan you can also follow the same procedure, but it depends upon on the availability of the resources. So that's why the Food and Drug Administration, they play very significant role in drug development and its whole process. So the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, they can review and they can evaluate the new drug based on the evidence and which is presented from the clinical research studies, which is performed by the drug sponsor, typically a pharmaceutical company. So what is preclinical studies? So preclinical studies is concerned with synthesis and purification of new drugs. That how the new drug can be formulated, how the new drug can be synthesized, and then it can be purified. Let's come toward the pharmacology of the new drug. Whenever you are going to launch or develop any new drug, first of all you will have to check the pharmacokinetic profile of the drug, either how much the drug, the rate of absorption of the drug, its distribution, its metabolism, its excretion, and half-life. Its pharmacodynamic, you will have to review the mechanism of action or mode of action and estimates of the therapeutic effects. Toxicology, including the carcinogenicity and mutagenicity and teratogenicity. I mean that whenever you are going to launch a product or to synthesize a new drug, so you must will have to investigate the preclinical trials. In case of you can review its toxicological toxicology, which including the carcinogenicity, that either this drug will cause cancer or not, or this drug will cause mutation, and teratogenic effect, developmental abnormality. So the drug should be checked from each and every aspect. The efficacy studies, it should be performed on animals. These are preclinical trial or preclinical studies. One is IND, that is called investigational new drug. Investigational new drug means the application for the formation to administer a new drug to humans. Outlines the proposal to the new drug for human testing and clinical trials. So studies in human can only begin after IND, investigational new drug, which is reviewed and approved by the Food and Drug Administration and an institutional review board, IRB. In clinical studies, there are different phases which are involved. In phase 1, you will have to review the efficacy studies on a healthy volunteers. So I mean that first of all you will have to select the healthy volunteers for the efficacy study, while in phase 2 the clinical studies on a limited scale, while in phase 3 there should be a comparison, a comparative studies on the large number of the patients and new drug applications regulatory review. And phase 4 there should be a continued comparative study like registration and market introductions. In phase 1, typically it involved 20 to 80 healthy volunteers, no women of the childbearing potentials. Emphasis is on drug safety. Goal is to identify the major side effect, the metabolism and routes of excretion. So all these things should be investigated in the phase 1. Last about 1 year and about 70% of the drug will pass this phase. While in phase 2, so phase 2 typically involve 100 to 300 individuals who have the target disease, and it can emphasize is on effectiveness. The patients receiving the drugs are compared to the similar patients receiving a placebo or another drug. Last about 2 drugs and about 33% of the drugs will pass this phase. Look at the difference. In phase 1, about 70% of the drug will pass in this phase, while in phase 2, only 33% of the drug will pass in this phase. While in phase 3, which typically involve 1,000 to 3,000 patients, and it can emphasize on the safety and effectiveness. So it can investigate through well-controlled studies, different populations and different dosages, as well as uses new drugs in combination with other drugs. It lasts about 3 years. 25 to 30% of the drug will pass this phase. NDA, pre-NDA period, and FDA and drug sponsor meet. So submission of new drugs, you can see here the investigational new drug. The investigational new drugs are typically formal step asking the FDA to consider approving a drug for the market, and FDA has almost 60 days to decide whether it will file it for approval consideration. So if filled, a review team is assigned to evaluate the new drug. FDA role approvable, the FDA request additional information from the sponsor, and the NDA is again reviewed. Following drug approval, sponsor of the drug will be required to continually assess the safety of the drug. And phase 4, the post-market surveillance of the drug to continually assess the safety of the drug, and which may include the incidence, the severity of prior adverse reactions, cost effectiveness analysis, and comparative trial and quality of life study. It should be under investigation. Thank you so much for watching my lecture, and this lecture was totally related to drug development process, which I have already explained in different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. Inshallah further I will extend these presentations to my viewers, and inshallah we will discuss more and more about the drug development process and its various protocol, which I have already explained in this lecture. Thank you so much for watching my lecture.